stage. Wow, this is incredible. Last year, I was at the same event in Colombia, and tonight I'm here with you guys. In the past, that would have taken months, maybe a year, to travel all the way from Colombia to here, across oceans and continents. But now I just took the flight. How convenient, and even complained that the flight was too long. I mean, we really live in the easiest, most comfortable time of human history. And it's killing our spirit. I woke up this morning in a beautiful villa. The sky was blue. I had a cup of delicious Indonesian coffee. I felt just so good. I received so many smiles from friendly Balinese. I just feel so grateful to be down this island. Can you guys relate? This is amazing. Everything looks perfect. And yet, why do so many of us feel numb, restless, or lost in paradise? We built lives of comfort, and in the process, we lost something essential: the ability to do hard things. The very thing that makes us feel more alive, we spend most of our life avoiding it. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to explore that question. Is more comfort, can you please keep down, makes our life easier? Why do you struggle make us feel more alive? Have you ever heard this sentence? Hard times create strong men. Strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. It's a cycle. Where do you guys think we are in that cycle right now? Easy times create weak men. Yes, we've gone soft. I mean, for example, you meet a friend. Oh, he looked terrible. Tough day. Oh, tell me about it. I was stuck in traffic. Internet was too slow. I received too many emails. The food was too spicy. The pool was too cold. Really? Go back 10,000 years ago. Ask your ancestors about what a tough day really looked like. They might have said something like, I haven't eaten for the past 3 days. Today, I tracked down an animal for 6 hours barefoot in the wilderness. And this morning, one of my friends got killed by a wild animal. That was just an average day. It's not the same anymore. To be alive there, you had to be strong, sharp, focused, courageous, resilient. Today, we live in padded rooms. We have soft jobs, soft chairs, soft minds. It is slowly killing our potential. We're becoming weaker. We're becoming less resilient. So what's the antidote? What's the solution? Intentional struggle. To choose struggle, to find struggle before it finds you. I first got to really understand the meaning of the word struggle when I joined the military. Now, the training to become an officer in the commando paratrooper was no joke. One of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And during those months of training, we had this infamous no sleep week. Now, we didn't know where it would come, and it says it all, right? And one day I come at the base, and on the Monday morning, I received the briefing for a long exercise that would be going on the whole night. I'm in the middle of the night. I'm like, I'm tired, cannot wait to rest a bit tomorrow morning. The day after in the morning, we come back to base, we clean the stuff, and then we think we're going to take a shower and take it a little bit easy. But no, the PT instructor comes in, everybody dressed up, we out in 5. Okay, well, after that, I'm going to take a shower, I'm going to rest a little bit. We just come back from the PT, we receive another briefing to go on another exercise for the whole night. By day 3, I am tired, I am hungry, I am in pain, I just want to sleep. By day 4, the only way to keep us awake was to keep us in movement, to keep us walking. The last night, we were per groups of 3 doing a map reading exercise. The first one would read the map. The second one would check on the first one reading the map because we were hallucinating. Our mind was not working anymore. I remember holding the compass and the map. It's like, I don't understand anything anymore. I was seeing things on the ground. It was crazy. And the third guy would just hold one of the backpack of the 2 others, put his head on his arm, and sleep. It's possible to sleep and walk at the same time. You fall asleep 1 second, 2 seconds, you wake up. You fall asleep, you wake up. It's crazy. Sleep deprivation is very, very difficult. It's so painful, your body cannot recover. it's hard. Now, why do you think that we train so hard? To be ready in real combat. There is a saying, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall back to your level of training. What are you training for? Comfort or challenge? Because life is going to challenge you. Can you raise your hand if you've been slapped in the face by life going through something difficult, something challenging, something hard to accept? Yes, we all been there. And I'm so sorry it happened in the past. It is going to happen again in the future. Death, loss, failure, this is just part of life. We cannot do anything about it. But we can prepare ourselves. We can train to be more courageous, to be more resilient. Last year, I decided to run a marathon. Terrible idea, right? Now, I don't like running. I am no runner. But it was always on my list, and I never did it because I didn't want to go to the month of training just before the race. But anyway, I signed up for a marathon in the Dominican Republic. Terrible idea. It was way too hot. And I show up the day of the race without training. Terrible idea number 2. Now, I started the race. I was fine. 5K, 10K, 15K, 20K. I'm like, ugh, that hurts. I've got this. 25, 30K. My legs hurt so bad. I just want to stop. The sun is beating me down. I'm like, come on. There is this voice in my head being like, dude, stop this. What are you doing? Just stop. You didn't tell anyone that you were running, so nobody's going to say anything. And your wife, well, she's going to be proud of you. Come on, you've run 30 kilometers without training. That's an achievement. Just quit right now. Oh, this voice was so loud. But then I thought about this quote from Aristotle that says, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. I realized that if I give myself permission to quit right now, I will quit again in the future when it's hard. Now, this is not who I want to be. I kept running with every step. The way I do anything is the way I do everything. I crossed the finish line, and I was proud of myself. That reminded me that I can do hard. That was a good reminder that struggle, discomfort, or pain is not a reason to quit. It is not a sign to give up, but an opportunity to persevere, an opportunity to grow. And that's why we need to do hard things. Now, if you're not convinced yet, let me share with you the 3 gifts of struggle. The first one is strength and self-reliance. You all heard about this exercise when you go in front of the mirror and you tell yourself, I am strong, I am fit, I'm rich, and whatever. Bullshit. Sorry. There might be a place for that, but I believe that you don't gain confidence through affirmations, but through experience. The beginning of the year, I went on a very intense experience, the most extreme wilderness expedition I've ever been on. I always wanted to go to the Amazon rainforest, and so I finally decided to take a plane to Peru and make my dream come through. So I arrived there. My goal was to hike and paddle the entire length of a river alone. I went in the Andes in search of the source of that river. I was climbing in the mountains. I found the source at more than 4,000 meters altitude. I was there in the middle of the Andes with my backpack, my pack raft, my kayak. I followed the river until I could put my kayak in the water. No, there was no path. I was in the middle of nowhere, just llamas and pumas around. And I started getting into my first challenge. I crossed an area where people do illegal mining. No, I didn't know that. It was not written in Google. So when I arrived there, people told me, like, hey, you should be very careful there. It's dangerous. Those people are cutting paths through the jungle to get to a river, and they dig for gold. They don't want to be seen. It's illegal what they're doing. So I was really stressed out when I was walking in the zone thinking I should not be here. I finally found a small path, and it was so much faster than going in the middle of nowhere. So I followed that path, and I realized it was leading to a mining site. Fear started building up in me. I was like, oh my God, this is not a good thing. I hear something coming. I jump on the side. I was hiding in the jungle. I did that a few times that day. I was so stressed to be seen. Luckily, everything went well. I get out of this zone. I arrive in a small village. I talk to the people. They're like, "Why are you? Where are you coming from?" Like that in there in the mountains. Like, you crazy? That's too dangerous. Where do you go? Oh, I keep going, following the river. I'm like, well, the river is delimiting um, Peru and Bolivia. That makes the border. This is really dangerous. This is a drug route. This territory is completely owned and controlled by narcos. What are you doing? They have guns. They're gonna see you. They're gonna shoot. I'm like, oh, I've been months preparing all of that. Again, information I could not find anywhere else. Like, should I go? Maybe I try. I'm gonna be on the river, so I'm gonna paddle very fast, and hope I'm not gonna be seen. That's what I did. I kept paddling as hard as I could. I finally crossed the last human settlement, and I'm looking in front of me. There's just the Amazon jungle that's going for hundreds and hundreds of kilometers. And I'm like, I am safe. All of those dangers are behind me. Finally. I keep paddling, but I realize that I underestimated the power, the strength of the river. The rapids are getting really sketchy, and that night I set up camp in my machete, cutting a small opening in the jungle, put my hammock, and I go to bed feeling very anxious about what's laying ahead of me. During the night, there is a big storm that broke out. It rained so hard, I had nightmares of drowning in that river. I woke up in the morning. The small stream next to my camp was now a big river, and the main river was angry. The current was so strong, it looked so powerful. I packed up my camp, went into my pack raft, and I started paddling with a knot in my stomach, thinking, wow, this is real now. The river was getting stronger and stronger. Every bend, I had to go on the side, look, trying to scout ahead to find my line. I knew that a simple mistake, choosing left or right, could be the difference between staying alive and not coming back. I was so scared, I'm not gonna lie. I kept paddling, and the river goes into a canyon. I have no choice, but I have to paddle. I cannot even walk around. I'm paddling, trying to keep my boat on top of the water. Those waves of like a meter and a half high, it was brutal. And there is this moment I'm on top of the wave, and I look on the other side, and I see there is a hole, we call a hydraulic, that the water comes down and do this washing machine effect, right? I'm on top of it. Fuck. I fall into it, immediately capsized. I'm in the water. I try to grab my boat by a little rope, but the water is too strong. The current is pulling me down in the bottom of the river. I cannot keep holding the boat. I'm in the bottom of the river, hitting the rocks. I'm like, oh, I try to swim back to the surface, but I cannot because there are too many bubbles in the water. There's too much foam. I finally got up. I take a deep breath. I'm pulled back down the river, and this keep going a few times. I make myself small, and I'm like, not now, not today. This is not the time. I'm just praying at a time to just go back to the surface. I finally surface again, and I'm being away from the rapid. I look around. I see another rapid, like a few hundred meters close to me, and my pack raft is far away. I'm like, what am I gonna do? If I'm separated from my boat, can I survive? I only have my life vest with my first aid kit, my survival kit, and my satellite communication device. But I need my boat for my food and all my gear. If I push on my rescue button, a rescue team can take days, maybe weeks to come, if they even come in that kind of terrain. I was so stressed out. I'm looking at the boat, and I swam the hardest I've ever in my life. I managed to catch the boat, flip it, paddle in it, and go on shore, collapse on the stone. My heart was pounding, and tears in my eyes. I'm like, wow, that was a close call. I nearly died. I took a few deep breaths. I felt grateful for being alive. I decided to go back in the packraft, and I kept paddling. In front of me, I still had 300 kilometers of river with caimans, anacondas, piranhas, and jaguars. The journey was not finished. Now, before I went on that expedition, people told me, "You're crazy. What about the risks?" Like, I'm aware of the risk. I spent months preparing myself, learning about wilderness medicine, learning about the jungle, the animals, the people, and everything. Risk is not a bad thing, but somehow it feels like we all the time avoid it at all costs. Risk is just part of life. What is for sure is that if we don't take risks, we end up with regret. Now, I screwed up a little bit because I had to rely on luck to stay alive, and that was a mistake. But when you go through hell and you come out of it alive, you feel strong. You feel like I get my back. I am my best friend. I am there for me. I can handle whatever comes to me. And that's the first gift of struggle. It gives you strength and self reliance. The second gift of struggle is perspective. When you do something hard, suddenly it creates a new benchmark for what hard is. And you put everything in your life into perspective, right? After running a marathon, suddenly a 5K run or a 10K run is nothing, right? This year, I committed to complete an Ironman, and suddenly a marathon is not such a big deal anymore, right? It helps you to cut the nonsense of other stuff in life too. It gives you perspective. When I was in the Amazon jungle, I realized that there is such a big difference between perceived danger and real danger, because there the threat was real. Deadly snakes, deadly rabbits, and all the other animals that are there. That was a real threat to my life. But in our daily lives, we always have like this anxiety and fear about so many things. We feel not safe, but we're not really in danger. Our mind doesn't really know the difference. But when you put yourself in a situation that you have to face this real danger, you remember that there is real danger and perceived danger. And that gives you, again, perspective. And perspective, in the sense, is a lot of power. When I was in the military, the only thing that pulled me through was to think beyond my circumstances. So I was in the middle of the training and it was so hard. I was in pain. I was cold. I was hungry. And I kept thinking, in a few days, I will be laying down in bed. I will be having a warm meal. I will be resting. That pulled me through the whole training. You know, the problem is that our mind is a little bit of a drama queen, right? Like, I'm cold. I'm going to be cold forever. I'm hungry. I'm going to be hungry forever. When you go through something hard, you realize there is an end to the discomfort, an end to the pain and the suffering that you create if you do it on purpose, right? And once again, that gives you perspective. So that's the second gift of struggle. The last gift of struggle is freedom and fulfillment. So last year, I went on a very long hike. Daniel said it, not the 10-hour long hike that you think about. I actually walked from the border in Mexico all the way through the United States to Canada. That was a 4,300 kilometers hike, 2,750 miles. It was crazy. And the only thing I thought about before going on the hike was the level of freedom I'm going to experience when I'm there. For 5 months, I'm going to be in the wilderness, just feeling so alive and free. Now, I quickly realized that a true hike is hard work. It requires discipline and courage. I mean, every day I had to know exactly what am I going to eat, where I'm going to drink, where I'm going to sleep. And I was walking between 30 to 45 kilometers every single day. That was hard. One day I was in Oregon. I was getting close to a trailhead and I meet a day hiker. The guy looks at me like, "Hey, good morning. How are you doing?" I pause for a sec and I'm like, "Well, my knees hurt, my back hurt, my feet hurt. I slept like shit. My sleeping bag is wet. My tent is wet. I am sick and tired of my food. I just want a warm meal. My battery pack is done. I want a shower. I just want to do a laundry." I smiled and said, "I'm great. You have a good day." I realized that freedom is not just doing whatever you want. It's knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way. That's freedom. Now, also in that hike, I thought the whole time about reaching Canada, reaching the border, getting to the end. That's the goal. I visualize myself at the end of the trail every single day. But then I realized also that the moment that I am there, the dream would already be just a memory. Because it's not about being there, it's about getting there. It is about the process. We tend to forget that the whole time. I am sure for you too, guys, in your business, your fitness goals, your money goals, whatever it is, we think about the outcome and we just focus on that. But we miss on the most important part, the process to get there. This is where we're going to spend most of our time. The moment we realize that, when it sucks, it's also part of the journey. It creates more fulfillment. So that's the last gift of struggle. It gives you fulfillment and freedom. So we have this pre-gift. strength, self reliance, perspective, and freedom and fulfillment. Now, what is a hard thing? A hard thing is something that pushes you out of your zone of comfort, that challenges you physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's not about extreme. This is my thing. It's about resistance. It's about doing something with some friction, something that has no more than 50% chances of success, not survival. That's the mistake I make in the Amazon, right? 60%, 50% chances of success. It could be taking cold showers, doing an ice bath, going on a physical challenge, or joining a wilderness expedition. I am just back from Namibia, where I hosted a wilderness expedition for men. I took a group of guys and we went in one of the harshest environments on earth, the Namib Desert. On day one, I dropped them in the middle of the desert, literally. We were driving, I said, everybody out, we're gonna check the equipment. I jumped in the truck and left them with just a map, a compass, and a set of coordinates. That was it. On day two, I made them cycle in deep sand, going in the dunes. That was brutal. On day three, we climbed to the summit of the country. It was a 10-hour hike in the scorching sun, carrying liters and liters of water. We went down, slept under the stars, keeping an eye out for cheetahs and hyenas. They suffered. They suffered a lot. And you know what? They loved it. They loved it because through discomfort and struggle, they remembered that they can do hard. They remembered that they can have their own back, that they can rely on themselves, that give them perspective on the other stuff that they are going through in their lives. And that gave them so much more freedom, knowing they can handle anything, and fulfillment, remembering that we have to embrace the suck because it's not about the outcomes, it's about the process. And that's why we need to do hard things. So here's my invitation for you guys tonight. I want you to think about something hard, something challenging that you could be doing in the coming days or in the coming weeks to push yourself, to learn those beautiful gifts, to receive them. I invite you to find me on Instagram, if you can spell my name, send me a text, inspire me with what you choose to do. Let me celebrate you for choosing the hard path to create an easy life. Now, comfort is great. I love comfort. The problem is that when we only live in comfort, we lose the ability to do hard things. We become weaker and less resilient. And that's why we need to choose intentional struggles. Now, I know it feels a little bit scary to go on to something difficult, like I'm going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be hard. Yes. And so if you feel a bit scary, I want you to remember this poem from Guillaume Apollinaire. It says, "Come to the edge," he said. "We can't, we're afraid," they responded. "Come to the edge," he said. "We can't, we will fall." "Come to the edge," he said. And so they came, and he pushed them, and they flew. Thank you, guys. Be bold. Play big.
Thank you, brother. So good, so good. I love it. Thank you so much. A pleasure.
Anytime.